February 17, 1944. The tropical lagoon at Truk, Operation Hailstone, burned, a fortress shattered by U.S. carrier aircraft. For 2 years, Truk had been Japan's Gibraltar of the Pacific. Now, it was a graveyard. Inside the bridge of the USS Iowa, BB-61, Captain John McCrae received staggering intelligence. A group of Japanese warships, already battered, were fleeing north. Admiral Raymond Spruance, commander of the Fifth Fleet, made a surprising decision. He wanted a surface action. The Japanese ships, the light cruiser Katori, destroyers Maikaze and Nowaki, and escorts, were running for their lives. Iowa and her sister ship, New Jersey, were unleashed to finish them. What followed would set a record that stands to this day: the longest-range engagement between battleships and surface vessels in naval history. It demonstrated a reality the Japanese High Command had failed to grasp. American battleships possessed the ability to hit targets from distances previously thought impossible. The Japanese doctrine, Kanai Kessan. For decades, the Imperial Japanese Navy built its strategy around Kanai Kessan, the decisive battle. They believed superior crews and fighting spirit would destroy the American battle line at medium ranges, 10 to 15 miles, close enough for effective optical rangefinders. Engaging ships beyond the horizon was considered impractical and wasteful. The American Revolution. What the Japanese didn't internalize was American fire control radar. The Mark 8 radar, combined with the mechanical analog computer called the Rangekeeper, was a revolution. While Japanese ships relied primarily on line-of-sight optical sighting, American battleships could calculate a firing solution where the target was barely visible, or not visible at all. The Rangekeeper factored in everything: target speed, wind, even the Earth's rotation, Coriolis effect, to calculate where a 2,700 Battleship shell, traveling for a minute and a half and arcing miles high, would finally land. It was mathematics made lethal. The massive Japanese Yamato-class battleships, mounting 18-inch guns, could theoretically outrange the American 16-inch guns, but theoretical range without accurate fire control is useless. The Iowa-class could engage effectively at ranges the Japanese had never seriously practiced. The attack on Truk had destroyed the Japanese air fleet, but the ships fleeing north almost escaped. American reconnaissance planes spotted the Katori group 30 miles northwest of Truk. Admiral Spruance wanted the kill. He formed Task Group 50.9, Iowa, New Jersey, 2 heavy cruisers, Minneapolis and New Orleans, and destroyers. The chase was on. The Japanese ships were fast, but the 33-knot Iowa-class battleships were faster, and they had radar. The opening salvo. On Iowa's bridge, the Rangekeeper hummed. The target was hull down, invisible to the naked eye. At 32,000 yards, 18 statute miles, Admiral Willis Lee gave the order. Iowa opened fire. 3 16-inch guns roared, launching Mark 13 high-capacity HC shells, 1/900 lbs, designed for devastating fragmentation against lightly armored ships. The first salvo was a straddle. Katori's crew desperately fired back, launching torpedoes, but the range was too great for their optical systems. The shells ran wild. The fire control system was relentless. The fourth salvo hit. Multiple 16-inch shells tore through Katori's superstructure and engineering spaces. Katori, her captain Takao Sai, fighting until the end, rolled over and sank just 11 minutes after the Iowa opened fire. The second target, the destroyer. Maikaze bravely tried to lay smoke and draw fire, even closing to launch a desperate, useless torpedo salvo against New Jersey. She was quickly dispatched by the concentrated fire of the heavy cruisers. All hands were lost. The final target was the destroyer Nowaki. She was fast, capable of over 35 knots, and opening the range. Iowa and New Jersey pursued. The range climbed 34,000 yards, then 36,000 yards, 20.3 statute miles. This was beyond the distance where any battleship had ever scored a hit in combat. New Jersey fired the final salvos. One salvo straddled Nowaki, causing minor damage before the destroyer finally disappeared into a rain squall. The point had been made. At 20.3 confirmed miles, the Iowa-class had engaged, hit, and destroyed enemy vessels. This remains the longest range gunnery engagement between surface vessels ever recorded. The shattered illusion. The engagement shattered the illusion of Kanai Kessan. The Japanese had lost because superior fighting spirit couldn't compensate for being hit by shells fired from beyond visual range. The American system collapsed the slow, iterative ranging process into a single, deadly equation. The deepest irony. News of the engagement terrified Japanese naval planners who realized their 18-inch gunned Yamato was technologically inferior. But the deepest irony of Truk was this. By the time Iowa demonstrated the supremacy of radar-directed gunnery, battleships were already obsolete. The war was already being decided by the aircraft carrier. Yamato and Musashi would both be sunk not by an American battleship, but by swarms of aircraft. The Iowa-class battleships were the ultimate expression of a dying weapon system. Magnificent relics built to fight a naval war that aircraft had already rendered obsolete. Truk was a symbol. It proved that American technology had rendered decades of Japanese naval doctrine meaningless.